So apparently, Justin Fields hasn't exactly been living up to the hype thus far this offseason. Now, I guess it depends on how you want to look at it, because maybe he is living up to the hype if you have a certain perspective on who you think Justin Fields is. Because on one side of the fence, you had Steeler fans before we even traded for Justin Fields, just when we were in talks or shown interest in trading for Justin Fields. A lot of Steeler fans thought we were getting a guaranteed thing, like he was going to be a guaranteed upgrade over our quarterbacks from last year, and we're basically getting a Justin Herbert or Joe Burrow in the house. The way a lot of Steeler fans were talking about Justin Fields. But then on the other side of things, you had fans like myself who looked at Fields and said, yeah, there's some uncertainty there. I don't think he's a finished product. I think he's going to be a work in progress if we get him in here. So the report is from Ray Fittipaldo from Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He went on SiriusXM radio and said, Fields, from what I've seen, they had a month of spring practices here, and he's a terrific athlete. But really the knocks against him that I heard coming in actually turned out to be true. He's not terribly accurate with the ball. His placement isn't all that great. And I could see them maybe having a package or two for him each week depending on the opponent. But I see this as Russell Wilson's team. Yeah, I'm not really surprised. I wish these reports were more positive, that, Fields really is showing something new. He doesn't look like his Bear self anymore. He's turning over a new leaf and everything. But isn't this just more in line with what we know Fields to be thus far in his NFL career? Talented, shows off athleticism, makes wow plays, makes plays that only a handful of quarterbacks can make throws only a handful of quarterbacks can make. But also inconsistent. Also losing record. Has only won 26% of his games. He's got a record of 10-28. Turns the ball over. 38 fumbles, 30 interceptions over these first 3 years. Like, is that what you're betting on? Being your starting quarterback for this upcoming season? Like, is that what you're saying? Yeah, this is going to be a guarantee. No, why? Because everything up to this point about Fields' career has been not a guarantee. It's been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of inconsistency, which is why I feel like if Fields was brought here and Kenny Pickett was still here and we never even brought in Russ, it'd be an open competition because both guys have something to prove. But going back to what Fittipaldo said, the last thing he said in that quote was, this is Russell Wilson's team. Yeah, as it should be, right? Like, sure, could you have a little pseudo competition between Russ and Fields this offseason? Sure, fine. But, like, push comes to shove, what guy are you betting on? What guy are you putting your chips all in for starting week one? And you said, you know what? I need to win the most games this year. I need to have the most success possible. Are you betting on Russell Wilson or are you betting on Justin Fields? I'm betting on Russell Wilson. And I think actually technically based off how the Steelers made some of their decisions this offseason, they also bet on Russell Wilson because both Russell Wilson and Fields were available at the same time when Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback on the Steelers roster, and the Steelers picked Russell Wilson as the first guy to bring in over Fields. Now, could there be various reasons for that? Maybe, sure. But let's not act like the deal that we sent for Fields was going to be drastically different if we would have traded for him a week prior. No, it was always going to be a sixth-round pick. Now, a lot of people thought Fields, in the national media and pundits and everything, they thought Fields was going to go for at least a second-rounder. Obviously, that wasn't his market. Bears wouldn't have done right by Fields if some team like the Raiders offered a second-round pick. No, I think you would have been an idiot to not take a second-round pick and instead send Fields to whatever team he wanted to for a sixth-round pick. That would have been foolish business. I mean, you should probably be fired as a GM if you're making deals like that. So I don't think the offer would have been drastically different if we would have traded for Fields before signing Russ. No. But we picked Russ over Fields. And again, rightfully so. Rightfully so. Because Russell Wilson has done it. Russell Wilson is stamped. Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer. And call me crazy, but I don't think he's washed either. Coming off of a season where he had 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. That was the 5th best touchdown to interception ratio in the league. 29 total touchdowns in 15 games. Is that washed? Honestly, if he just wants to replicate that stat line for the Steelers in 2024, I think we'll take it, right? I think if Russell Wilson's doing numbers like that, we're winning 12 or 13 games. Like, it's just funny that it seems like people view Fields' last year with the Bears as better than Russ's last year with the Broncos, even though pretty much every stat that's out there would tell you otherwise. And I don't know why. Is it because Justin Fields is still early in his career and Russell Wilson's, on the back half? And maybe that leads me into my point in that people just, I think, want to move off of greatness for whatever reason. I don't know why. I think they just want to move off of greatness and bring in something new, because sometimes greatness can be taken for granted, can be not as new or exciting. So you want to move off of that sure thing, that greatness, and just get something new in just because. But that's what I'm here to say today is, like, let's not do that. Let's not be so quick to move off of greatness, because it only comes around so often and shouldn't be taken for granted. Got to witness it firsthand in Big Ben's final season. All you guys ran him out of town. The organization ran him out of town. They wanted to blame him for that 2021 team's faults, despite us having Canada as the coordinator and Kendrick Green as the center and having the worst O-line in the league and having Chase Claypool celebrating first downs prematurely, costing us extra plays late in the game, and also having the worst rush defense in the league. Yeah, they wanted to blame Seven and move off of the GOAT. Yeah, that's what happened. For what? What was the great plan? What was the great next option after Big Ben? These last 2 years? Kenny, Mitch, Mason? Okay. Okay. Let's not take greatness for granted. Hey, could you imagine what the Steelers would have done with Big Ben these last 2 seasons? You tell me. Because I think these teams in 2022 and 2023 were way better than what Ben was dealing with in 2021. Yet, he led that broken team to the playoffs and led the league in game-winning drives. Don't be so quick, man. Don't be so quick to move off of greatness. Patriots did it with Tom Brady, too, 2019. Everyone was saying Brady's washed. He don't got it anymore. Time to move on. Time to rebuild a new era up in New England. Anyone with eyes could see Brady had no help on offense and that his arm strength, his arm talent was still there. Just needed some help. Sometimes you just need some help. That's all. Sometimes it's just that simple. You saw what he did in Tampa Bay. And that's what I'm here to say with Russ, man. Like, don't be so quick to move off of an all-time great just because he's a little bit older, just because maybe his play is not as exciting, maybe because or he doesn't provide headlines or provide drama. Bro, sometimes steady, consistent, like that's what you want. That's what you really want. And that's what Russell Wilson brings. Justin Fields hasn't brought that thus far. 3 years in, which is fine, which is completely fine. It's just if I'm betting on a quarterback to win me games, I'm betting on Russell Wilson. Like, there's no doubt. Like, who's betting on Justin Fields? Why? Russell Wilson has a 61% winning percentage for his career. A 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio for his career. He has like 300 touchdowns and 100 picks. 100 QB rating for his career. I already mentioned, I think, Super Bowl champion, if you guys forgot. But is also clutch as hell in the fourth quarter. When the game gets later, he gets better, which is what you want out of your quarterback. You don't want the opposite. You don't want a guy that's going to fold when the game's late, when the chips are on the line, when it's crunch time. And, I mean, technically, if you want to look at Justin Fields and what the stats say, that's what happens with him. Second half, fourth quarter, he ain't as good. And all those other stats I just mentioned don't pale in comparison to Russell's. And talking about career, I talked about the wins, touchdown interception ratio, turnover, whatever you want to talk about, like whatever stat you want to talk about, Russ has Fields beat, and that's why Russ is considered an all-time great. I guess what I'm trying to say is just don't be so eager to get to the next thing when you got a sure thing right in front of you, when you got certainty right in front of you, when you got greatness right in front of you. Don't be so quick, man. Do not be so quick. Do not take that for granted. And this isn't a knock on Fields or anything. This is just, I think this conversation or what I'm talking about right here is just more being pro Russell Wilson, because Fields is where he's at right now. It is what it is. I'm not like knocking it. It's just, hey, we got a better option, and it's Russell Wilson. Let's go with him. Let's not make this too complicated. Yeah, Fields, you could develop. You could be a work in progress. We like your talent, all that stuff, but I want to win games. Steelers want to win games. Russell Wilson's the answer for that. Russell Wilson is the answer for that. Why? Because he wins games. He wins games. He's a leader. He's been there, done that already. And he ain't over the hill. He ain't washed. He's not Peyton Manning in his last year, Drew Brees in his last year, where you could tell those dudes physically didn't have it anymore. No, you want to look at Russ's tape from last year? No, he could still throw the deep ball. He still got his arm. Was it the best fit in Denver with Sean Payton? No, I don't think so. That's why I think things are going to be better for Russ this year with the Steelers. It's going to be even better. Don't be so quick to move off of greatness. Do not be so quick to move off an all-time great or for sure franchise quarterback. So we'll see what Russ got. I mean, and yeah, that's not saying like, if Russ is sucking for the first 6 weeks, we don't put in Fields. I don't expect that to happen, but let's at least get Russ to week 1, man. Like, you're starting the season, Russ should be the guy. No debate about it. No debate at all. And I think he's going to play good, and there's really not going to be a reason to see Justin Fields out there in an actual starting capacity. If we're going to put him out there for certain packages and whatnot, try to throw the defense off, yeah, that could happen. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but so be it. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments for what I had to say today about these Justin Fields reports and how it pertains to the Steelers' starting quarterback position this year. Stay chilling. Peace.